Since our last Universal Epic Universe construction update, there has been an avalanche of information released to the public from Universal. Most of the information released was surrounding Celestial Park, which still has some information left to be confirmed. Last time we dove into Epic Universe, we saw fantastic progress in the new Wizarding World land, and this time, there is more fantastic progress being made. The first pieces of dome framing have topped Helios Grand Hotel, the ride system for Constellation Carousel is being installed, and new details about Curse of the Werewolf spinning roller coaster in Dark Universe. All of that and more in this week's Universal Epic Universe construction update. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any new update, and if you want to get these updates a day before everyone else, be sure to join our membership program. Now, let's dive into this week's Universal Epic Universe construction update with our aerial views provided to us by BioReconstruct. Starting off in the new Wizarding World of Harry Potter in the streets of Paris, progress in front of the land's entry portal has started with the pouring of colorful concrete of the courtyard with a similar shape of the courtyard found in front of the entrance to Starfall Racers. Inside of the streets, some more scaffolding has been removed from the facades of the buildings, revealing more of the detail of the building fronts. At the end of the street, that the majority of the scaffolding that was removed last update, there appears to be a large concrete foundation tucked inside the interesting structure. We can see electrical conduit being trenched going towards that foundation. It is likely that there will be some sort of statue at this location. At the entrance to the Ministry of Magic ride, scaffolding continues to cover that section of the facade. All around the streets, preparation for concrete continues, as we can see workers mixing some concrete for some special pours, likely for some sort of sculpting, or mortar for bricklaying. Just outside of the exit to the land, and outside the courtyard, there is another octagon foundation, similar to the ones that can be found all over Celestial Park. The white pipes coming from the ground means water will be coming to these foundations. The going rumor is that these locations will be freestyle Coke locations, or some sort of other food or drink kiosk. Moving across Celestial Park to the land based off of Universal Monsters, Dark Universe, there has been some concrete footers poured on either side of the entry portal openings. As guests make their way through the entry portal, they will be walking through a graveyard, complete with a crypt which continues to take shape. The headstones that we saw last update remain in their staged places and will likely stay that way for quite some time. The broken masonry at the front of the village continues to be shaped and is still hidden behind the scaffolding. Towards the back of the village, certain rooftops are starting to receive shingles identical to the ones found on Curse of the Werewolf and on DeLacy's snack stand. Separating the village from Curse of the Werewolf and the rest of Dark Universe, the walls that have been sculpted as masonry, a lot of them have been revealed, giving us a great look of the overall theming of this wall. Since we last checked in, there has been a video going around social media confirming that this spinning roller coaster does have a mid-track swing launch inside of the barn. Inside of the tracks of Curse of the Werewolf, in the entry walkways, looking closely, we can see that there are some shadows in some of the walkways that are larger than others. This means that the landscape inside of the forest will have rolling elevation changes. Moving from Curse of the Werewolf towards Burning Blades Tavern, there is a walkway being actively poured with colored concrete. The concrete they are pouring has a coloring agent in it, giving it that brown look compared to the gray look everyone is used to seeing with concrete. The rebar that is exposed gives us an idea of how this walkway will develop as it gets away from the coaster tracks and closer to the entrance of Burning Blades. The service gate that is between Burning Blades and the spinning coaster will have sculpted masonry that is identical to the walls found on Burning Blades. We can see this by looking through the scaffolding on either side of the gate. Just on the other side of Dark Universe to Burning Blades is DeLacy's snack stand, which continues to have interior work done. Guests will order underneath the overhang of the roof as if they were facing the manor of the feature ride. Speaking of the manor, the side towers that we saw installed last update are now surrounded in scaffolding, and the exterior board has been painted and is getting prepared for the sculpted masonry. Out back in the overflow queue area of the feature ride, there have been more trees planted, most notably on either side of the crypt. Several lower walls are being prepared to be formed inside of the queue area. Presumably, these will be for the outlines of the walkways guests will follow. Before we leave Dark Universe, let's check in on the support building that was recently started to go vertical. It seems that the main steel framing of this support building has been 100% completed, and we will now start to see the roof and walls installed. Transporting next door to Super Nintendo World and the Mushroom Kingdom, waterproofing has been added to the side of the entry portal, indicating that this area will soon be backfilled with dirt. Inside of the Mushroom Kingdom, theming continues all around Mount Beanpole as we get closer to the opening of Epic Universe. If you look carefully on the front of Mount Beanpole, you can see two different covered theming elements, one being the same size as a mystery box, and the other being significantly larger at the entrance that the Yoshi's Adventure ride vehicles will enter Mount Beanpole. Peach's Castle has seen the main outline finally completed and is now primed in that gray base coat that every wall in Super Nintendo World has received. More of the tops of the walls between Peach's Castle and Yoshi's Adventure has gotten foam sculpting that matches the theming found on Mount Beanpole. Sculpting foam is staged on the roofs of Super Nintendo World between Peach's Castle and Bowser's Fortress, which this update does not have any significant visual changes to point out. Behind the Mushroom Kingdom in Donkey Kong Country, several of the theming elements that have been recently placed are receiving more work. More flowers and vines have been placed on the coaster building in the gaps of the oversized blocks. Even more of these elements are staged on the ground ready to be installed on the wall. Inside of the coaster tracks, next to where the coaster will splash through the water, the wire mesh we saw shaped last update has started to be sculpted, seen around where the workers currently are. The brown fabric found inside of the mesh holds the concrete in and acts as a mold for the concrete sculpting. By the next time we check in, this element should be nearly completely sculpted and will be ready for paint to match the ruined look of the temple that surrounds it. At the top of a lift hill, where the large monkey head will be installed, the framing continues to have pieces installed and mounting brackets installed for this head, which we should hopefully see in the next couple of months. Leaving Super Nintendo World and sailing into the How to Train Your Dragon land at the Isle of Burk, there are several additions to the details that we have been seeing in the last several updates. The entry portal to the land, which was thought to be constructed as a mountain, was confirmed with what Universal released earlier this week. The sculpting of this rock work has just about made it to the base of the portal beacon. Just inside the land, inside of the tight turning portion of the coaster, sheep have been added on top of the rocks, giving guests on the coaster the feeling of circling the sheep while riding. Additional trees have been planted on the outside of the coaster tracks that will be separating the How to Train Your Dragon land visually from the rest of Epic Universe. Grog and Gruel is receiving detailed work around the roof line above the sign. You can see the templates that were used to form the sign laying on the roof nearby. The wing-style safety netting that has been installed over the past couple of updates appears to be 100% complete. Between the pair of spinning rides and the coaster tracks behind them, there has been some new scaffolding beginning to be installed. It is believed that this will be theming for the coaster as well as a divider for the two rides. The rumor is that this themed part of the coaster will be as if guests were flying through viewing stands just like in the movie. Just off of the main lagoon, the retail building's rock chips have nearly made it to the top of the framing where the platforms currently are and where dragons will be placed later. Next door at Mead Hall, scaffolding has reached the top of the mountain and we can see several areas of sculpting work being done in various parts on the exterior of the building. At the entrance to the target boat ride that we believe will be named Fire Drill, there has been a platform added to the top of the ramp. It is believed that this platform will be home to yet another dragon. Inside of the boat ride itself, the surface of the boat ride lagoon has been painted bright white since we last checked in. We are not sure if this is the final color or just a primer for paint later on, so we will have to keep an eye out for that change. At the back of Celestial Park sits the Helios Grand Hotel, where the first two sections of the steel framing have been installed for the dome, which is the highest part of the hotel. These are the pieces of framing that we saw laying on the ground next to the parking garage last update. The facade and windows of the hotel continue to climb towards the roof, as the wall panels are only about 2 floors below the rooftop bar. Out front, in the resort's pool area, the shape of the pool continues to be built as the wooden concrete forms make their way all around the pool. The roof of the pool bar is also seeing some major work done in preparation for a small dome that will be installed on the top where the large opening currently is. On the park side of the hotel, work continues on the walkways that were recently poured in concrete. There is some drain work taking place just off of the circular pad just off of the lobby. Moving a little farther towards the main fountains, there are concrete forms being built and placed, creating the pathway from the Helios Grand Hotel to Epic Universe. This will be where the hotel's dedicated entrance to the park will be located. At the base of the Helios Grand Hotel sits the Blue Dragon Pan-Asian restaurant, which has been confirmed by Universal. In recent updates, there has not been a lot of visual changes other than some exterior board placed around the outside of the building. This update, there has been a bridge placed at the top of the waterfall feature that will separate the Blue Dragon from the rest of Epic Universe. Just around the corner from the Blue Dragon sits the main fountain of Epic Universe, where this update, a steel structure has been installed on one of the overlooks of the fountain. This will possibly be a seating area that is covered for people to get out of the weather. Also installed around the fountain since last update are a handful of trees between the seating area of the fountain and Astronomica, which is the confirmed water play area. Astronomica is starting to get a concrete form installed that will bring concrete level to the tops of the water nozzles. One thing to note is that the current form does not fully enclose all of the nozzles. This means that there will be additional forms placed in the future, giving the basin of Astronomica a designed look that matches the rest of the courtyards around Celestial Park. Last update, we saw several large sections of what appeared to be a ride system being lifted into the main dome of the rumored carousel. Well, Universal has confirmed that this ride will indeed be a carousel and will be named Constellation Carousel. This means the pieces we saw last update were indeed ride system pieces for the carousel. Looking inside of the framing of the dome, we can see several of these pieces installed, which include the main frame as well as the sections of the carousel that spin inside of the main platform. At the base of the ribs of the carousel dome, we can see that golden accents have been added around each rib that is inside of the second water feature. Just across Celestial Park is the last confirmed attraction by Universal this week, and that is the dueling launch coaster of Starfall Racers. Much of the work at Starfall Racers this update is near the front of the coaster building around the comet theming element and where the ride trains come head-on at each other. Looking at the renderings released by Universal, we can see the rockwork at the base of the comet matches, as well as the rockwork closer to where the ride trains are coming at each other with some sort of mist effect. These renderings definitely added to the excitement for Epic Universe, and helped clear up some of the theories that have been going around for quite some time. Just outside of the portal to the How to Train Your Dragon land, the site that was prepared last update has not seen any major Earth movement, but there are several areas of activity around for utility placement for these two quick service dining locations. The cascading waterfalls in front of Atlantic continue to be worked on as we get closer to seeing water flowing from the overlook towards the front of Epic Universe. The walls on either side of the Kronos Tower which will be on top of the entry portal to Epic Universe, continue to be themed behind the scaffolding. Just south of Epic Universe are the two off-site resorts of Stella Nova and Terra Luna. We did not talk about these two resorts last update since there was not a whole lot to go over, but this update there are a few things to check in on. At Stella Nova, the exterior construction elevators have been removed and lattice is being installed to finish the colorful tiles on Stella Nova, minus the ones closer to the ground. Those tiles we will not see installed until closer to the opening day to prevent any damage to the tiles during construction. At Terra Luna, the colorful tiles are making good headway, and the tiles have made it to the roofline and are now about halfway down the side of the hotel to the first end. Terra Luna continues to make good progress to catch up to its sister resort next door to hit its opening date 12 months from now. In all of the announcements that Universal released, Universal also created some rumors as well. Universal has removed the word summer from the opening of Epic Universe. This could mean absolutely nothing, and Epic Universe will still open in the summer. However, it does leave the door open for either an earlier or an even later opening of Epic Universe. Do you think Universal is keeping an opening day secret? Leave a comment below and let us know what you think. Hopefully, you enjoyed this Universal Epic Universe construction update. If you did, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss the next Epic Universe update. If you are interested in the details recently released by Universal about Celestial Park, be sure to watch this video next, where we go over in detail all of the announcements released by Universal about Celestial Park. And with that, until next time, travelers, have a great one.